Brighton have knocked Chelsea out the FA Cup, and for me, this one feels different. This defeat hurts more than any other defeat this season, not because it's Brighton, but because of the lack of intensity, just where the club is at the moment. And that performance was by far the worst of this season. It was abysmal. Lack of energy, lack of intensity, lack of aggression, lack of desire, lack of belief, lack of structure, lack of system, lack of a playing style, lack of creativity. I could go on and on and on. Despite only winning 3 of the last 10 games, and one of those wins came against Morecambe, that game really annoyed me. I don't mind getting beat because that happens in football, but it's when you're absolutely diabolical. I don't mind misplacing a pass in football or not being successful in your dribbles. It's when you've got no intensity, no aggression, no fight, no hunger to win a game of football. That's what annoys me. But I do generally believe it all starts with the top. Poor strategy, recruitment, and ambition from the owners and sporting directors. We spent 1.5 billion on this squad and it lacks depth, quality, belief, identity, and filled with the wrong profiles to fit Enzo Maresca's system. The ironic thing is the model itself on Brighton, so it's all about data scouting. Data scouting is good to an extent, but it doesn't tell the full story. It doesn't tell you the physical attributes or the mental attributes. When you're scouting a footballer, this is very simplistic, by the way. There's 4 categories that you look for: tactical work, technical work, physical, and mental. The data scouting doesn't tell you the physical and mental attributes. That's something that you've got to decide on an eye test. And the more this season goes on, this Chelsea squad has shown me a lack of physicality and a lack of mentality. Chelsea are being run as a business rather than a football club. I understand you want to make money. Nobody takes over a business to lose money. That's ridiculous to think. Yes, you want to make money, but there's also a footballing side that you've got to show ambition for, because the more successful you are, funny enough, the more money you'll make, because you'll attract better players, you'll be playing in bigger competitions, which brings in more revenue. And you can look at this January transfer window and think it all went wrong here. No, it didn't. It all went wrong for about 3 windows now, maybe 4 or 5 windows, because we're piecing together a team that doesn't complement each other. And I always say in football, profiles and partnerships build a successful team. Now, Chelsea are starting to buy on names. Who can the penny pinch from? Who can they make a profit from? Yes, that's all well and good trying to make money. I understand that, but it takes away what really matters, and that's on the football pitch. Chelsea used to strike fear into the opponents, and I know this because I live in Newcastle. Every time Chelsea came to town or Newcastle was going to Stamford Bridge, it used to be like, oh, not Chelsea. Not Chelsea, they're brutal to play against. Now it's like, oh, it's Chelsea. We're going to Stamford Bridge. I'm quite confident. And Chelsea have never, ever been that football club. Now, it's not all on the sporting directors, but it's not all on Enzo Maresca either. Enzo Maresca's not fully at fault, but he's in charge of the team. When it's not working, can he tweak the system? Can he have his wingers inverting and his fullbacks overlapping? Can he do something different to be more creative in that final third? Because we showed no creativity whatsoever against Brighton. Chelsea are becoming far too one-dimensional. Having that inverted fullback, a lot of teams know how to defend that against that now. So can we figure out a different way? If our system isn't working, can we adapt it to try and finish the game on a high? As soon as Brighton went 2-1 up, we knew for a fact Chelsea weren't getting back into that game because there was no motivation. That comes from Maresca, but the players need to take accountability as well. There was no fight, intensity, quality, work rate, no passion, vision, no aggression, no standards. Players just didn't look like they wanted to be there. Now, it was a shocking performance. Everyone, apart from, I would say, Moses Caicedo, because he was the only one that looked like he wanted to win the game of football, needs a big wake-up call. The lack of accountability in this team is shocking. The poor decision-making on the field, extremely passive in and out of possession. There was no fight, no energy. And that's the worrying thing. You can play badly, but have that energy, have that fight. I don't mind that. We're too predictable. No creativity, no directness. Like, I'm truly getting annoyed thinking about it, because the one thing you want from your players is somebody working hard. But even when we won back the ball, there was no movement, no running off the ball, no tempo, no vision. There was just nothing. It was flat. We were gifted a goal in the first half, absolutely gifted a goal, and that was a perfect opportunity to build on that. But yet, we went back into our shells. Didn't even look like winning the goal despite being 1-0 up. So let's start with Christopher Nkunku. Now, I don't want to sit here and slander the guy because he came in before Enzo Maresca. So this wasn't a player that we bought no more playing this system. So I kind of feel sorry for him in a way. But time and time again, Enzo Maresca has told us that Christopher Nkunku is not a number 9. But yeah, he plays as a number 9. And that is the shit that he puts out. Just, he looked like he did not want to be there. The attitude, the body language told you 1,000 words. Yes, he's being misprofiled, but that shouldn't take away any desire from the player. We should have got rid of Christopher Nkunku, whether that be a loan or a buy option in January. We probably should have kept João Felix, to be honest, and got rid of Christopher Nkunku. Now, the bonus of getting rid of Christopher Nkunku, even on a loan, is you could bring in a loan signing, somebody like in Evan Ferguson that would probably give us a different profile and probably suit Enzo Maresca's system a lot better than Christopher Nkunku. Now, the thing is, you might have to cut a loss on Christopher Nkunku, but the reason why you don't mind doing it is because it's a benefit of the team moving forward. So even if we have to cut out a loss on maybe 5 or 10 million, you do sell Christopher Nkunku. 1, because it's clearly not working. 2, because he doesn't want to be here. And 3, because that opens the finances to bring in a profile that will actually benefit the team. I actually felt sorry for some of the players like Cole Palmer, because how can you spark a bit of magic when your centre forward is offering nothing? He was our centre forward today and he had 0 shots. Not even a shot off target. 0 shots. Yes, he came and made a few passes, but there was no off-ball movement. We made it easy for Brighton today. Brighton didn't even have to get out of second gear. That'll be the easiest game they'll have to defend against because we lacked everything. Even if you're having a bad game and your touch is a little bit off, you still run the channels. You still try and get in behind. Even if you're not good at it, you still try, because every single defender in that Premier League, if you ask them what they hate the most, it's runners in behind. Defenders hate running back towards their own goal. And this is what Chelsea are absolutely lacking. This is what Nicholas Jackson brings. I think this performance tells you exactly why Nicholas Jackson is important to us this season. Christopher Nkunku is making Nicholas Jackson look like Drogba. Now, I don't want to keep on getting at individual performances, but Malo Gusto was shocking today. I've been saying it all season. He doesn't suit this system. Malo Gusto's profile and ability is far better as a traditional fullback, somebody that wants to overlap, get the best out of his athleticism and his technical ability. And this is why I was talking about, can Enzo Maresca change the system? Can he adapt it slightly to benefit his players that he's got out on the pitch? Maybe have your fullbacks overlapping instead of one inverting. Have your wingers acting as inside forwards, picking up the pockets inside, because I think that would benefit Jadon Sancho as well. Jadon Sancho, Borussia Dortmund, had the license to come inside. You're often seen him picking up the ball extremely centrally. And I think that's how you get the best out of somebody like Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is the type of player that wants to bounce off people. He wants to use his teammates to try and break down the opposition, but yet he can't do that acting as a touchline winger. But getting back to Malo Gusto, I mean, winning 1 out of your 10 ground duels is not good enough for a defender. Don't care what anyone says. Yes, he can have an off day. I understand that, but these off days are becoming far too frequent. And on top of that, when he did have possession, he lost possession 21 times in a football match. And this is what I've been saying all season. When he plays this role, his decision-making isn't good enough. And lastly, I want to speak about Cole Palmer, because he stopped playing to his strengths. He stopped doing everything that he's probably the best in the Premier League at. And at the beginning of the season, he was the best in ghosting in dangerous areas inside that final third where he can hurt and punish and impact the game. At the start of the season, he was playing far closer at the centre forward, which was Nicholas Jackson at the time. I know it was Christopher Nkunku last night, but Cole Palmer needs to be in those dangerous areas. He's dropping far too deep and having less impact on the game. And I think he's doing that out of frustration. And it does need to be said, Cole Palmer's performances have dropped off. And I think sometimes you drop to the levels around you. And I think that's exactly what's happening. Cole Palmer is getting pulled down to the levels of everybody else. Can we just change things, freshen things up, go back to basics just for a couple of weeks? But we need to do something, because the longer we prolong this shit show for, it's just going to get worse, and you can't let it get any worse before you try and make it better. And look, we've got Brighton again next week on Friday, and we need to say better, because if we put out a performance like that, the game's just going to go one way. But the frustrating thing is, I want to talk about the game and what chances happened where, and what he should have done in this position, and how he created that chance. But there was nothing to speak about. We're just here talking about individual performances and how bad they were. I don't want to be sitting here talking about how poor we were on that day. What do we do with that? But look, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. If you watch this video, make sure you drop us a comment in the below. Let me know your thoughts. Probably the only positive thing about last night is that football kit. That football kit, my God, it's beautiful. That's the only positive thing. But I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below what you made of that. Who do you think's at fault? I think it's a mixture of everybody, to be honest, but it does start from the top. Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. Up the Chelsea.